All right, welcome. Thanks for our viewership. Thanks for coming out today. And we have the illustrious Kevin Mack joining us today. I'm super excited to have Kevin here on the podcast.
Much appreciated to be here.
I'm very excited for people to get to know him better. Kevin, I've worked with for, 5 years now?
Probably
6?
5 years.
It's been a while. And Kevin is just salt of the earth, one of the best people I've met. His wife Sharon is totally awesome. They're just such good people. So I'm super excited to have him here to talk. And to going back, so what we're doing is I'm doing interviews of the leadership teams here at Nexus IT and different teams. And Kevin is on the leadership team for our frontline services team. He manages one of our pods. And Kevin, I've kind of said most of that, but you just give us, what do you do? What's your position? What's your name? Tell us just a little bit about you.
Sure. Yep. So you got it, Kevin Mack. And so I am a pod team lead. And so the pods are dedicated service team members in the pod that are dedicated to certain clients. It gives them that white glove feeling. We are totally understanding of each client that we have. We have probably about 15, 20 clients per pod. And again, I'm one of the leads for that.
Thank you. That's awesome. I think that's something unique that we've done as an MSP is that as we've grown, we noticed that customers were like, hey, I appreciate working with all your team. This isn't a negative on your team, but I haven't talked to the same person for like 2 months. And it started to get to a point where people were getting frustrated. I just don't feel like that human touch. Mm-hmm. And so as a team, we talked about it and what could we do to give it that hometown small MSP feel. And that was, we'll split it up into pods. So you're always talking typically to the same few people and they know your account, they know you.
Yep, to get that and the fact that get quicker answers, right? So, yeah.
Yeah,
I think they enjoyed that.
It's pretty awesome. So, Kevin, tell us a little bit about a day in the life in what you do. We don't need tons of detail, but what do you do every day?
Sure. So, again, a team of very knowledgeable, very brilliant, I should say, members of the team. I have several folks that are service desk. We have a few that are escalations projects. So they all are, again, looking at a very specific client, 20 of them. And basically, I manage that, more of a coaching, if you will, those team members. It's pretty easy because they are very brilliant folks, like I said, to work with. So my day-to-day is basically just quarterbacking requests, things that are coming in from our clients.
I love that. And you are a star quarterback, so I appreciate it. Tom Brady. And I would go for Steve Young. He's my star quarterback. Not just because he grew up around here, but he's a lefty, and he could run. Lefties are just, they're weird. They're different. Even my son's a lefty, so maybe he won't make it to the NFL, let's be honest. He's got my build, so sorry, Gabe. So what made you choose and decide to go into IT?
So out of high school, in high school, I was in a tech class that basically offset printing became my thing. I did that for several years, almost probably close to 2 decades of printing press. It was great. Money was great. Thing was, I was doing 14, 16-hour days, 6, 7 days a week, came home mentally and physically drained every single day. And I had an opportunity to get away from that. I always did like computers and networking. Had an opportunity to get away from that and into computers. And so that's the route that I decided to take. It was one door closed, another door opened.
That's awesome. I love that. I think that's a natural progression of life. And sometimes when those doors close, it feels like there's never going to be a new door open. But inevitably, there always is. And a lot of times that door is better than the previous room you were in.
Agreed.
So do you have any big moments, pivotal moments that have defined you, that have been one of those, and it doesn't have to be major, but something small that you've had that has changed your life in a way that's helped you learn and grow?
I'm going to go with marrying my wife. I don't know that there's a life-altering thing that I have had in my life. Can't think of anything like that, though.
So why would you say marrying your wife?
It's just, I think it's the best thing that has happened. We've got two great kids, have success. So we're at 27 years marriage. We're pretty happy with each other, and
That's fantastic. One of the things I love about Kevin is he is like a glue inside the team to hold the team together. And one of my favorite experiences I've ever had with Kevin on a call is we were talking to a pretty frustrated customer, and they were frustrated by this or that or whatever it may be, and we're nearing to the end of the call. It was a very good call. The customer felt good. And then Kevin, I think, was on vacation at the time, and he had been muted, and then he
yeah,
came on, and it was just right to the customer. Hey, Mr. Mrs. Customer, this is what we do. We do
I
this
remember
all
that.
day. And the way he said it and the confidence, I was like, that's right. This is what we do.
I felt at that time there needed to be some reassurance that we had their back at all times, and so it just felt good to let them know this is what we do. We do this all day long, and I think I just kind of muted and it just blurted out of my mouth, and it did feel good, and it felt right. I felt like the customer appreciated that and got to where we wanted it to go. That they just need some more reassurance.
And I also see you do that with team members, and I think sometimes as it's normal for people who are from an engineering background to try to solve something. Yeah, I'll show you all of these steps for the solve, when a lot of times it's just, I got your back. We're going to take care of you. We'll worry about that stuff. That's not your job. That's our job, though.
Yeah, and it's part of the coaching thing is that I feel like I'll give someone just enough information to go with it and make sure that they're comfortable. So it's part of my coaching style, if you will, that someone has to learn how to do something, and the best way to do it is just go and do it. So there's sometimes that I'm not sure how to do it myself, and we'll figure it out together. But
I love that. So as a coach, what are some challenges that you faced coaching people?
I think it is difficult for any leader to step away far enough. Number one, there's some folks that are able to do that. Maybe just they get to that point, stepping away far enough. And I think the other thing is it actually is pretty easy these days. Like I said, I have a really good team that they're very knowledgeable, great skill sets. So these days it's a little more difficult to say what makes it difficult. I think difficult in the past, I think here, is giving them enough time. I think maybe thinking back on some of the other positions I've had that were leadership, giving people enough time to figure it out before stepping in and doing it myself.
Yeah, I think that's a tough balance,
Yeah.
especially when you have customers breathing or other teams breathing down your neck. We really need
hmm
this. But I have had many times in my life that once I've learned it, it's like, oh, it's stuck in the gray matter forever. I'll never forget how to do that.
I think one of my buddies back home, Doug, he's a musician, and anytime he has a thing saying that anytime he needs to learn a new song, one song has to leave. There's only so much stuff in
Yeah,
there.
there are times I feel that way where it's like, oh, if I'm gonna fit that, I
Where
gotta
am I going to
delete
put
that
this?
file.
Yeah.
It's like the old defragging the hard drive. I wish I could do that with my brain. Just like if I could just categorize things better, I'd be good. So on the flip side, in your coaching, what is your favorite thing you get out of that?
Being able to see someone move forward, seeing their successes, enjoying their success, and celebrating with them, seeing that they get something, the light bulb going off above their head, that type of stuff. I think I mostly enjoy when, so here at Nexus, we hire from within, and we've been able to do that with a couple folks, my team, and just seeing that progression. It's great that Nexus hires from within because I get to see that.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you have done or you've seen successful inspiring people to win?
I think that folks going out, so team members going out and getting better, we have a lot of folks that are going out and achieving certifications, bettering their skill set somehow or another. We have some training that we do, a couple hours a week. Seeing that progression in one-on-ones, talking with them, seeing that they're moving forward, going on to the next thing, that type of thing, seeing that they're being able to up their game through learning.
I love
Yeah.
that.
So
It is rewarding to see people grow and change, and almost just like you're fostering the environment, and they're winning by themselves. It's awesome because
it's fun.
a lot of times all you can do for people is give them the opportunity, and then it is up to them. Granted, it's our job to help coach and bring them along, but there's almost nothing better than seeing people. You gave them the opportunity and they seized it, and then what it can do in their life. It's pretty awesome.
And then seeing that outcome. Yeah.
That's cool. So, I love this question because I think you do great with it. So, how do you foster a positive and inclusive culture in your team?
I think here it just happens. I'm going to have to think about that one. That one's a difficult one because I think it just happens here. It's just the environment that is already here as far as being at Nexus. I think of other places. This might be one of those where we stop the video and then clip it together. But anyway, let me think about that one. Trying to think back on some of the other. It's so difficult. I don't know that I really had to try this. You know what I mean? I'm trying to think back. I know that there's definitely times that I've had to deal with that I'm thinking of, but I don't really recall what I may have done. I think if we were going, would be something to the effect of just let that person be that person and support them. I think when people see leadership doing that, then it's just a natural thing that happens.
I agree, and you do that so naturally, where you allow your team to be themselves, to grow, and I love that you do hold a very high bar, and I think that's important for people to know, because when the bar is unclear or hidden behind a wall, a lot of times people will feel like, oh, this is nice, it's relaxed, but then when they're not measuring up, that really creates a sense of frustration and concern. But you do a very good job of holding the bar high, being very coaching, getting them there, helping them understand that. And then when they meet or exceed that, then that's when you can have those wins. And I think that's just the way you work. It's kind of hard to describe when that's what you live every day, right?
It's a better way of saying it, but
Love it. Yeah. So outside of work, what are some of the things you like to do for fun?
So you know this, but I'll tell the rest of the world. We moved to Utah because I liked the outdoors. I visited here. I love the mountains, love hiking, outdoors camping. I have a motorcycle that I enjoy, so doing some of those twisties on the motorcycle is pretty enjoyable. Outside of that, family time with my wife. We're empty nesters now, and we have a new dog.
What kind of dog?
So it's a Malamute.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of bigger dog. She's really sweet. And so we enjoy those things: camping, hiking, motorcycling, walking the dogs.
I recently got into motorcycle riding, and I won't lie, a lot of it has to do with Kevin's example, and his bike's way cooler than mine. He's got a nice Indian, and it's super cool, and I hope to one day graduate up to that level, but I've always thought it was cool. Kevin's kind of, you should see he's got a ton of style, and then what's funny is there's times I've seen him on his bike where I'm like, I don't know if I'd mess with that guy, but if you knew Kevin, he's the nicest guy you ever meet.
That's why I have a bike, for that purpose. Don't mess with me. I remember one time Jake's co-founder, asked me one time about leaving my helmet on the seat of my bike while it was parked in the parking lot. And I was like, people don't normally mess with biker stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
I agree. I think, would you say it's all bikes? Because I have a naked bike, which it looks sporty, but it's a one-cylinder, so I maybe could go 100 miles an hour, really pushing it. On those type of bikes, I feel like someone would take it. But on your bike is like, it's an Indian, but it's big, tough. I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe. Or
I hear what you're saying, but I think in general, I don't know that there are too many people that would mess with any bike.
And they shouldn't. I
No.
mean, leave people's stuff alone. Be nice. Do unto others, right? I love that. So this is one of my favorite questions. What advice would you give to either aspiring leaders or aspiring IT professionals?
I think just go after it. Give it everything you have. And if it's something that you really want, it'll work out. I feel like it doesn't matter what you're looking at. Just if it's something that is super interesting to you, we're talking about motorcycles, just go and do it. If you're feeling like you're a good leader or a good person that stands up in front of people with audience, I am not. Go do it. Try it out. Have fun with it, and see where it takes you.
I love that. What's funny is that brought me back. So Kevin, he worked with us at Intellitek's, our previous MSP, and we merged with Nexus IT about 2 years ago, which has been awesome, tons of fun. But I'll never forget when we were hiring Kevin, I think we're talking about a lapse server. It was an issue we were having with a customer. And we talked to Kevin about it, and he is a really good interview. He dressed very nicely. I'll never forget that. I was like, thank you for dressing up. That makes me feel special as the interviewer. So, but we're talking about that, and this was a really big deal at the time. We had to figure this out. And then a few days later, Kevin reached out to us and sent us some, like some things he found or things he had researched on it. And I was just like, blown away that one, he was really listening, and two, that he went on his own time and like, hey, I'm interested in trying to help you out. Whether you hire me or not or whatever, I thought I'd send this information. And so, roll back a little bit what he said with some advice he would give. Go after it, go for it. That's exactly what he did. And honestly, that more than anything else, obviously his pedigree was great. He's great to talk to, but that determination and that willingness to go and do it was like, man, we got to have someone like this on our team.
It's been a great ride. There's always these things, you have bad days and you're like, you think is the grass greener, but I wouldn't change it. Obviously the bad days outweigh, I should say the good days outweigh the bad days. And so I had a good time with it too.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I think one of the things I've talked about in several of my discussions with other team members is MSP life is a lot different than regular IT. Not discounting anyone else's roles or anything like that, but one of the challenges is what we have to do is it never stops. And like Kevin said, he has 20 companies in his pod, and that's of varying different sizes and complexities. And that's just like the dedicated ones. Now we have people we've worked with for 15, 20 years who call in every once in a while, and then they need help, or new customers coming in. So what are some of the things you do to deal with some of those pressures or that stress?
I think I mentioned those before. What I like to do, I take frequent Fridays as PTO to go and do those types of things. I think definitely MSP life is definitely different. I have never met so many smart people in my life. I cannot believe how I feel great that I have this opportunity to work with so many very brilliant folks. I learn something from them new every day. And so to get back to the answer is, I feel like these shorter holidays, vacations help me deal with it anyway. And definitely riding to work on a motorcycle. I ride a motorcycle to and from work every day. There's nothing better than wind therapy.
Seriously.
So
I didn't know it was a thing, and I think I'm pretty proud of this. So I started in May. It's a new bike, had 0 miles on it, and I'm at 3,100 miles for the year since May.
Wow.
So I'm pretty proud of myself. My goal is 4,000 before the season's over. Really, the season never ends, but to where I'm not going to ride. It's too cold. Yeah.
So you probably don't know the answer to this yet. My answer to this is, when is season over? When it's 40 degrees all the time, and then it's not getting any warmer. That's when I'm done. However, there's days in December that it hits 50, 60, and hey, great, I'm going to go take a ride. So do you know that yet? Do you?
I don't know. My thoughts is when things are freezing on the road that I could slide.
Yeah.
Once that starts happening more and more frequently, would I go on a Saturday afternoon ride when it's warmed up?
Yeah.
I would take out and go. But riding to work every day, once it's like there's a risk, because you and I get here around the same time. We both leave late a lot of times. And so if it's dark and things are starting to freeze, just because this is year one, I'm not as comfortable. I don't trust myself enough that what would I do in black ice and those sort of things.
Yeah.
In a car, sure, but on a bike, it's different.
You have airbags in a car.
Exactly. You're seeing a little bit easier. Kevin's bike, you can hear very well. My bike, you can't even hear it. But
I like your bike.
yeah,
I wouldn't trade, but I like your bike.
I would trade.
I know.
I would. We talk a lot about this. I very much aspire to an Indian. There's something special about the brand and the history and what they're doing. They're kind of push the envelope a little bit with things, and it's kind of a fun industry. I talked about this with Jeff on the sales team. I didn't know there was a whole culture of put your fingers.
Oh, right.
What 2 wheels down, and I don't do the cop stuff. I've had a cop do that to me. I rode by a cop once, and he was tapping his head, laughing at me. But it's such a welcoming community.
Yeah.
Riding everyone I ride by, if they know. Scooters don't seem to know, but real motorcyclists. Hey, wow, I feel good. This is fun.
I've been told you're not supposed to do that with Can-Ams, but I've done it a few times. So
2-wheeled front, I won't do it.
I guess I've made the mistake, or I don't care.
Well, and you're a super nice guy. So my last question, do you have anything fun or surprising that you could share about yourself that people may not know?
I have. Where do we begin? I remember looking at this question and a few things here. I think it's. I don't know. I think some of the other thing that I like to do is skating. I don't do it as much as I would like, but I'm a very good skater. Really good. And
What kind of skating?
ice skates, inlines. Wow. So.
Did you play hockey or anything?
Pond hockey, yeah. Pickup hockey at rinks and stuff like that. Yeah.
That is cool.
The Blackhawks did not take my offer to play.
I didn't know that. I actually just went ice skating a few weeks ago when I was visiting my parents-in-law up in Idaho, and I could not believe how many muscles it used that I don't use a lot. My feet and ankles were quivering.
I'd probably be there too, though. I haven't skated in a long time, but yeah.
It is fun. There's something special about it. That's super cool. Thanks for telling us, and thanks for being on.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
I love doing this, and I love having awesome people. I think the common theme that we see so much when we have these is how wonderful our teams are. And I count it a blessing, and a favorite part of my career is working with people like Kevin and having him help me up-level and upskill and see things in a better and different light. So thank you for being awesome and for being on our team.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep. And we will end. Stay classy, Salt Lake City.